What's up, everybody? What is up? You guys are coming in. Let me know how your day's going. My day's going pretty good. Staying busy. Hopefully you guys like the new setup here. Says my stream health is not that good, so we'll see what's up here. Um go to hopefully this picks up. It's saying that my stream health is not doing good right now, so you know, if you guys can't hear me, just let me know if you're coming in. If it's a little off or if it comes like stuttery. I haven't had this happen yet, but we'll see. It might just be like a warning thing. But if you're coming in, let me know how your day's going. Hopefully you guys like the little overlay that I have going here. I'll try to fix it up a little bit more, but for now I just thought, okay, I'll start with this and see where it goes. Obviously, I have the info on there, so I don't have to keep repeating it. You guys know where I'm training at. You guys know how to reach me through my email. And yeah, if you guys ever have any questions right now, let me know. So, yep, let me know how your day is going if you're just coming in. If you guys are watching this after the fact, you can still comment. My day's going pretty good. Just have a workout to do in a little bit. I had my deload week last week, so oh, there you goes. It goes live streams screen now. So I had my deload week last week. That was that was pretty nice. Sometimes I feel like I get a little beat up from working out, and I don't want to say I'm reaching, I'm getting to overtraining yet. I definitely don't think I've ever been there. The only time I think I've been overtraining was when I was in the Marine Corps. They push you pretty hard there, and I feel like just with all the other factors and stress going on, you can get to overtraining. I think easily being in the military. But I do think that people talk about overtraining like you can easily reach it. I mean, unless you're doing like tons and tons and tons of volume all the time, I don't think that you're going to reach overtraining that easy. But sometimes I can feel myself, I just feel the fatigue kind of piling on top of itself. So when I finally get to a deload week at the end of my volume block, it's actually very nice. I feel like I can take a break from super crazy hard workouts and just give myself some time to think and not be on working out. Like obviously I'm a trainer, I love working out, I love training people, but at the same time, it just feels like that, like, it's like you just have those days where you don't want to work out. And when because I have a volume block, then I have a deload, then I have an intensity block, and then I have a deload, and then I test. So it's volume, deload, intensity, deload, test. And I can I test on 5 exercises: max pull ups, max overhead press, max bench press, max deadlift, and max squat. Those are the 5 that I test on. And when I get to the top of my volume block, because my goal of the volume block, if for those of you who don't know or don't follow the channel as much, is obviously it's just to accumulate volume throughout the week. So each week I'm adding sets. So there's a big difference between how many sets I'm doing a workout between week 1 and then week 6. So at the end of week 6, I'm pretty fatigued. I feel like I'm doing a lot, a little beat up. You might have some nicks and pains here and there. You guys all know sometimes you'll be doing bench press and your shoulder just kind of hurts a little bit, but you just have a lot of nicks and pains and bruises and things where you're just like, I need a break. So when I'm finally able to take my deload and kind of get a break from the gym, because most of the time I love going to the gym, but because I get to get a break, it really recharges my batteries. Like this week was my first week of my intensity block, and obviously I'm picking up the intensity in regards to a percentage of 1 rep max. So to keep it simple, I'm going heavier this week with a little bit less reps. So it's less volume but more reps, and I shave off a couple of the sets too of the exercises that aren't as important for regards to strength. So I shave off some sets, and then uh, but I increased the intensity. So even though I've increased the intensity to my intensity or versus my volume block, what's up? Whoever's coming in, I have no idea how to figure out who's coming in. It's just telling me people are coming in. So if you're coming in, what's up? Let me know how your day's going. It's cool to get to know you guys. Every single time you guys see a live stream, just let me know how your day's going. So if I see you guys consistently, then I can kind of remember who's who. So Jovita says my bench has plateaued at 83 kilograms for one at 70 kilograms body weight. I bench 3 times a week following a 5x5. Any tips? Is that you do, Jovita? Do you do a 5x5 every single time you do bench? Um, Let me answer me that question, and then I can get back to you on that. Yes, sir. Answer me that question. I can get back to you on that. Yeah, benches is a hard one. Benches, all pressing movements are hard for me. They're hard for me. They're like my weakest lifts by far. Like I said, deadlift is by far my best. Deadlift and pull-ups are both good for me. I've always been able to do more than 20 pull-ups since I was in the Marine Corps, and I'm like, uh, YH. You meant to put yeah? Okay. That's probably where you're kind of messing up there. Is that 5x5 is good for strength, but there's a lot of things that affect strength. Strength is depending on what type of strength you're talking about. There's different forms of strength, you know. But in regards to like maximal strength, how much weight you compress for your 1 rep max. There's a lot of factors that come into play. But to break it down, there's 3 main things that affect strength, and that's neurological adaptation, skill acquisition, and then morphological adaptations. And the main thing for morphological adaptations is muscle mass. Neurological adaptation is just your muscle fibers, the adaptation that your muscle fibers get, your neuromuscular system makes when you're pressing heavy weight. Your neuromuscular system is going to function differently or do different things when you lift with heavy weight versus when you lift with light weight. Um, so it's just all the adaptations that your body, your muscle fibers make, like being able to fire in unison and those sorts of things. Now, skill acquisition is simply that it's getting good at the bench press. So that's something that I would have to see. Maybe you can upload a video and send it to my email, which is right there. And I can look at it. I can reply back to you if you have your friend record you. But skill acquisition is something that you get skilled at. So you have to learn how to, because you could press heavyweight, but if you're not pressing it with optimal technique, you may be making things harder than they are. Because remember, strength is you want to be efficient. It's kind of not the same as, obviously, it's not the same as hypertrophy. Now, the last thing, which is where I think you're messing up with this 5x5, is the morphological adaptations, which of the main factor of morphological adaptations is muscle mass, how much muscle mass you have on you. So yes, Jovita, if I had a clone of you, clone A and clone B, if you guys are identical in every single way, but clone B is more jacked or has more muscle mass, you're going to be able to move more weight. So if you're doing 5x5 all the time, while that is ideal for specificity, and while that you are still hitting the tenets of hitting each, you're hitting the bench press 3 times a week, which is good. I still think that you shouldn't be training heavy all the time, because while you can make the same amount of gains in regards to muscle mass with all rep ranges, it's harder to make the same amount of gains at lower rep ranges and heavier weight, because you have to do more sets to match volume with medium weight and moderate reps. So for example, if I had you do a 3x10, like 3 sets by 10 reps, for you to get the same amount of volume as a 3x10, you'd probably have to do by like maybe a 5x5 or something. Which a 5x5 is going to be a lot harder than a 3x10. Now, let's just say you did a 5x10 with some reps left in the tank on every single set. That's going to be a lot of volume. So essentially what I'm saying is you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot by doing 5x5 all the time, because you're not doing the most efficient rep range and weight to accumulate volume. So what I would do is, instead of doing 5x5 for every day, maybe keep one day like a 5x5 put one day like a 5 by 10, and then maybe put like maybe keep that second day like maybe make the second day like a 5 by um again with fitness is kind of like an art at past a certain point. You can maybe make the third day like uh, a 5 by 3 or even like a 5 by 7. They seem opposite, but you just have to kind of play around with it. And also too, it depends on like during a volume block, I'd have you do a 5 by 5, maybe like a 5 by 8, and then like a 5 by 12 or something. During a high intensity block, I might have you do just like a HPS setup. And HPS is hypertrophy power strength. So you have one day where you do like a 5 by 10, or even like a 6 by 10 or something. You're trying to accumulate volume. Then your second day would be like doubles, like like maybe you'll do 3 by 2, 3 sets of 2 reps, where you make sure this is your easiest day in regards to like feeling sore and you're not really close to failure. You don't have a ton of grindy reps. You're only doing sets of 2. It's more like your kind of heavy technique day, and then your third day is your strength day, which is what like a 5 by 5 would be. So you could do like a hypertrophy power strength setup. So make one of those days to kind of make this a simple answer. Make one of those days like a medium rep range, medium weight day. That's the simplest way I could put it. When you're doing 5 by 5 all the time, you're not you're making it hard for you to accumulate volume, which is hard to increase muscle mass. But in regards to like the rest of your program, I'd have to take a look at it. But that's the simplest answer I could give you. Sorry if that was way more complicated than what you were looking for, but I'm not trying to give you like a kind of cop out answer. So yeah, just switch one of those 5 by 5s with the 5 by 10 day, and then maybe you could just probably keep 2 5 by 5 days if you wanted to, and then just switch one of those out for a 5 by 10. Or you could do like a 5 by 5 one day, 5 by 10 another day, and then a 5 by 7 or 5 by 8 another day. Um, and your 5 by 5 day should be the day where you get closest to failure. Don't go to failure, but it should be the day where you get closest to failure. Your hypertrophy day should be, you should always have some reps left in the tank. Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. Um, how's your day been going? How's your week been going though? Let me know how everything's been going with you. Is you no injuries or anything like that? I know sometimes people get injuries. I've had about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I had a shoulder issue, but those can be pretty bad. You said, Jovita said, is there any way to make your muscles look harder and dense other than losing body fat? I'd probably say no. Now, some people may say certain things like, okay, well, I mean, if you wanted to get real technical, I mean, like, you could get a tan. I mean, you could do that. Get a tan. You can't manipulate lighting wherever you go. The only way, like actual lighting. I mean, you're kind of manipulating lighting by getting a tan. If you get a tan, you're definitely look more defined. I don't know like what color your skin is, man. If you're like I'm white as shit. If you can't tell, like I'm super white, so like nothing shows up on me. Like yeah, it's kind of funny, but so yeah, you get a tan. But other than that, no. Like some people will say higher reps or I don't. I'd have to see evidence for that. I don't. You either gain muscle or you lose muscle. I don't think that it's like doing when you try to manipulate those variables, you're gonna get like weird outcomes or anything like that. I'd have to see evidence. So I would say is get a tan, yeah, or lose body fat. Those are the only two, man. Tan will work though. It'll work. Trust me. It'll work. I've never tanned before, but I mean, I mean, you see that shit everywhere. If you like, yeah, I would just definitely say tan. But yeah, overall, my week's going good, man. And bench press has always been a hard one for me too, Jovita. Trust me, it's hard. You just have to be patient with it. Like sometimes I'll tell myself that like I have good programming or I have a good workout program, and everything seems pretty good, and then I'm not getting gains as fast as I want, but I eventually always make gains somewhere. I almost always hit a PR. I can't remember the last time I went for a PR and I didn't get it. And that just makes me think that when I do beat myself up because I haven't hit a PR as quick as I wanted to, it just makes me think that I need to be more patient. So with all that stuff, I feel like if you know you're doing the right thing, which can be kind of hard and confusing, I would still uh I would just be patient. Um, Jovita, can you try to explain to me how your workout program is? So you bench 3 times a week? Do you take deloads? Are you on like a what kind of progression system are you on? You said bench is killer. I hate stalling on it. My weakest lift as well. Yep, it sucks. It sucks. Whenever I go for a heavy bench day, I get a little anxious because I don't know how good I'm gonna do. Even if I'm not going for a PR, I just have a heavy bench day. Um, then yeah, it could be make it not. I wouldn't say not fun, but it's always like a little like am I gonna get this bench right now? But yeah, same thing with overhead press. I actually like overhead press. I don't do a push press. I do it strict. So I really do. I like training pressing movements. I think they're fun. I've never been good at them. Um, like I don't do bodybuilding per se, but if I were to bodybuild, I can tell you right now that my back would definitely be my strong point, and my chest would be my weak point. 100%, not even close. Yep. And the problem too with bench, Jovita, for me at least, the issue is that it just seems like you can get injured doing bench way more than you can back movements. I've never been injured doing a back movement, not even remotely close. It's always during a pressing movement. It's always during a pressing movement. I don't think that like bench can be safe if done right, but I think that bench is just overall more problematic. I think it's one of those movements that if you don't enjoy doing bench and you're not a power lifter or someone that has to do it, I don't even think that you need I don't even think you that's not even a necessary movement. Like I mean, if you know, it's just not. Obviously, it's a great movement for building muscle, but you don't have to have it. Uh, I do it because I think it's really fun. You said my training is 3 times a week, full body squat first, all the time, then bench, then deadlift, then pull ups and accessories on all 3 days. Never taken a deload week. I don't know how to program that to increase my bench. Um, do you do you do the same reps and like same reps, same weight? Well, I mean, obviously you're probably trying to add more weight, but you're probably trying to add more weight, but that would just be a linear progression. So, and you can't do like if you just try to take an exercise and you try to add weight every single week, you do the exercise or every single workout, and that's all you try to do is you do it, you go and you're like, okay, let's try and add a little bit more. You're gonna stall. You're definitely gonna stall pretty quickly. Yeah, like 100%. That's a linear progression team, and that's only gonna get you so far. There's going to be a point where you have to get more advanced forms of progression, and you're going to have to progress slower. So if you've never taken a deload, you probably definitely ran into some fatigue, which might make you stall, and you wouldn't even know it. Um, and do you ever like add sets or take away sets, or is it always just the same? How are your like sets of reps? Do they ever vary? And if they vary, how do they vary? Or is it just kind of like what you feel? Uh, what you feel when you go into the gym that day. Because I know some people go in there and they'll just kind of go what they feel. I think that overall you're hitting the most core principle stuff. You know, you're training heavy, high frequency. You're hitting every muscle group 3 times a week, definitely, by far. So you're hitting the main chunk of what you need to do. You said I add weight to all my lifts. My squats and deadlifts are always increasing and weight, but my bench is really bad and it's stalled. I can't add any weight. Yeah, bench is definitely going to stall first. It doesn't have as it's not as total body as squats and deadlifts. So the same thing will happen to squats and deadlifts at some point. It's going to get hard to progress if you're not on a good progression model. Um, but it's not going to be nearly as soon as bench press will be. Um, so I would, yeah, um, yeah, that's something that I definitely would have to look at your whole program. And I'm not even trying to do this like bring this in like a salesman point. I'm just saying you would have to hire a trainer. I mean, that's exactly what I do is I know how to progress someone in bench press. Like I was working with a guy and out of respect because I don't know if he wants me to say it on stream, but I was working with him and he had never hit over 200 bench ever. And within, I think it was 3 months, I got him. He never hit over 200. So it was probably around, I think his max was like 180. And within, and some of this was beginner gains, but I'm going to give myself some credit and obviously say that it was the good program that I did with him. And I was working with him one on one. He got to like a two, I think it was 246 bench. He got a 246 bench or 245, something like that. It was like mid 240s in about 3 months. 3 months. So it definitely was some beginning gains there. You're not going to make a 60-pound bench increase in your and then I will say that he never like tried to test for a 1 rep max. The only thing that he remembered was around 180 that he hit. So you're gonna have to work with a trainer or something, or get like or a program written out for you or something. But because someone will have to literally look through all your stuff. But yeah, bench can definitely be hard. You how would you say your technique is, Jovita? Do you think, would you consider yourself your technique good? Um, if you don't know, then you're probably messing something up. But like foot placement, are you using good leg drive? Do you have a good arch in your low back? You don't have to do a crazy excessive arch like you see some powerlifters do. You can, but you don't have to. I mean, decreasing the range of motion and turning it to like a pseudo decline bench press is going to make it easier. Um, but some people think that's kind of like gimmicky, but I don't know how you'd consider your technique. If you think your technique is good, then I would then that's something that I mean, you should always be trying to improve your technique. But if you think your technique is good, then that's something that I wouldn't worry about too much. But I mean, if you have no idea, you're probably messing something up. You have to think about bar path, how the bar moves. I actually did a video on that bar path. You don't want the bar to be going straight up and down. If your head is right here and your feet are right here, and you unrack the bar, you don't want the bar to go up. And if you're looking at it from the side, pretend you're looking at it from the side, the head, someone's feet, and the bar, they unrack it. You don't want, remember, their head's over here. You don't want the bar to go straight up and down. It should go into a J pattern like this. It should go back first towards the head and then up. So it should go like bam, bam, not up and then back. So it should go back and then up. So yeah, it's kind of it again. There's a lot of stuff to it. There's a let me see if I can find it for you. Here you go. Uh, there's a really good guide by Greg Knuckles that goes over the bench press, and it's a really long guide, like really long. When you get a chance, man, I would click that and then save it so that after the stream or whenever you want, you can look at that. Um, it's 100% free. It's just a guide. It's a really good guide on bench press. If you haven't read it already, it's long, but it is by far the best bench press guide that I've ever seen. On technique. Um, yeah, and then that's good, man. You said your technique, you unrack the bar, scapular retraction, and yeah, that's good. But there's a lot more to it, man. There's a lot more to it. But just yeah, where the bar lands. I like to talk about bar placement, making sure you're using leg drive, making sure you're bracing as good as you can. A lot of people don't take bracing into effect. If you're not bracing as literally as hard as you can, then you're going to be giving some weight somewhere. So yeah, I would definitely read that guide when you get a chance. Whoever just came in, what's up? Let me know how your day's going. Just having a live stream. I'm doing that. I'm gonna be doing these every single week. I did one last week. I'm doing one today. Obviously, I changed the overlay a little bit. Hopefully, you guys like it. Give you guys a little bit of info that I don't have to keep spouting off every single 2 seconds. Like I said, it just says ask me anything fitness related or not. Subscribe, share, like the normal stuff on my channel. Because again, if everyone shared my channel, like, subscribe, click the notification bell, it would help my channel out a ton. I'm trying to get to 10K subscribers by the end of the year, so that's a goal of mine. So whoever sees that, help me get to 10K, man. I really appreciate it. Yep, so all that good stuff. If you guys want to donate, you can. You definitely don't have to. It's just I know some people like doing that. And then you get one-on-one and small group training. So yep, all that stuff right there. So that's why I have it there so I don't have to keep spamming that and saying that. But whoever just came in, what's up? Yep, I have a workout later on. I got what's up, Eddie B said I'm great drinking a black coffee. A black coffee. Oh, so wait, are you drinking black coffee as a pre-workout, or is it a pre-workout called black coffee? I'm just kidding, but I can't tell. I have to have a fat ass cup of black coffee every single morning. It's like legit. Like if it's not strong, man, I hate waking up. But after my coffee, I'm straight. Yeah. Does do you do online training? I live in the UK. Would I need to send video footage to sort out the programming? No, no. Yeah, I do online training. So how it works is you could just email me, Jovita, and then at jpfitnesspro.com, and then what I'll do is I'll get some info from you, like your email and stuff like that. We'll exchange emails. I'll get your email, your name, your birthday. I'll just collect a little bit of email from you, and then I'll set you up your own profile on a workout app. So you're going to get your own workout application. It's going to have demonstrations of the videos. It's going to have uh, basically everything set up. You don't have to guess. It has the rest periods, the exercises, the sets, reps, everything in it. Um, and then so then you just go into you'll go to your gym, and then you just start the workout, and then everything's laid out, and you just do the workout. I'll tell you how many times how to work out a week. Everything's going to be individualized. And then I also have some nutrition stuff to tag along with it too. So it's very easy on your end if you want to do online training. So right now or after the stream, you can email me jp at jpfitnesspro.com, and then we'll go from there. But no, you don't need to send me anything at all. It's just a little bit of info, but not like a video or nothing. If you want to send me a video of your like bench press, I can critique that. Yes, this is definitely part of the online training. With the online training, we'll meet up once a week, or we won't meet up. I'll call you once a week, and then we'll discuss what you have issues with. If you need something changed, we can go from there. It just depends on it's what you're having trouble with. So it's pretty intuitive, so it's good. Um, Eddie B said no black coffee is my pre-workout. Oh heck yeah, man! You gotta get that zing in there. No problem. I don't know about you, Jovita, too, but obviously Eddie's on the train. Is man, I don't do pre-workout anymore. Um, Coffee or anything. I just have my cup of coffee in the morning. Because waking up is like it's such a bitch. I hate it, but yeah, I just drink my coffee straight black like you, Eddie. It's I don't know. I don't like all that sugar and stuff in it. I'm like, I'll have some sugar sometimes, but usually I'm like I don't know. Like I'm not saying I don't like eating. I love eating ice cream. I like drinking soda, but I rarely do either of those things. Um. So yeah, I rarely do any of these things. So I don't dump like creamer and sugar in my coffee. I just drink it straight black. It's probably the healthiest way to do it, but yeah, my coffee's pretty strong, so that's probably not healthy. Uh, Jovita said, "How do athletes train twice a day, 5 to 6 days a week? What is it, PEDS? In many cases, like like with, well, I don't want to jump to conclusions. It could be, and I don't want it to get sued, or I'm not gonna get sued. Obviously, my channel's not nearly big enough, but just out of respect, we don't know if it's PEDS. Uh, but yes, a lot of the time it's performance enhancing drugs that let them train 5 to 6 days a week. I could get someone to train twice a day for 5 to 6 days a week, even if they're natural. It just depends on how you structure it. Like you're not gonna have two very intense workouts twice a day for 6 days a week and then never overtrain. There's no way. Um, if they're that long, usually if it's a natural athlete, they're gonna have intense workouts throughout the week, but they mix it up. With one workout might be like some light cardio, or it might be like technique work. So it's not like every single workout to beat them up. But yes, many of the times it is performance enhancing drugs. It's no doubt about it. I mean, ever since the United States Anti-Doping Agency came in the UFC, look how many people fucking popped. I mean, you can go down the chain, and I don't give a shit what their excuse is. I mean, you can literally, I don't buy none of their bullshit. You can go down the chain. I think Yoel Romero popped, but his was like, I don't know, whatever it was. He was the most innocent out of pretty much all of them. You know, like they all pop left and right. I don't care anymore. But yeah, so it is that. Eddie B said it's an acquired taste. I love it now. See, that's the thing, Eddie's. I don't know if I like it or if I only like it because I know I'm about to get that like the caffeine like rush. Like I don't like how yeah, like that's pretty much it. I don't know if it's like I think that, for example, if the coffee did absolutely nothing, let's just say it was decaf, I don't know if I would drink it for taste. I don't know. I don't think so. I think that I like the taste, if that sounds right, because I know it's coffee and I'm about to get like wired off of it in the morning. It's gonna wake me up. But I don't know if I like it. But I do like it more than when I started. When I started, I hated it. Now it's definitely bearable. Um, you said I do push pull legs. On push day, I do rear delts. Next day on pull, I do face pull. Should I worry about overtraining these muscles since they do assist each other? Depends. That's funny that you said that because I didn't know your latter sentence was gonna actually say that because I was already thinking about what to say. But yeah, I actually did go over that in my training splits video. If you watched them, I never train rear delts on push a day. I know some people like when people say shoulders, I don't ever consider rear delts with the shoulders because the rear delts work very closely with all upper back musculature, the rhomboids, the traps. Anytime you do like a high row, like an elevated row, it's going to involve the rear delts. Now, if someone says, well, the rear delts are also activated in overhead press, yes, but not to the extent that they are in a rows. Um, Everything in your body is recruited to a very minute degree. When you're sitting up, you're recruiting muscle that you wouldn't think you are. But I wouldn't worry about. Well, I mean, I wouldn't. Let's just take the word overtraining because that's like the picky word. But like, yes, I would worry about like a muscle group crossover. Yes, that is something to be worried about. I would. I just put your rear day. You said push pull legs. Put your rear delts on your back day. Put them on your back day, man. Think about it. Anything you do rear delts is going to think about anything. If you're doing rear cable flies, it's working your traps and rhomboids. That's another thing too is traps. I train them on my back day too because they work very closely with the rhomboids um, of your upper back. So like anything that your rhomboids do, your traps are going to be heavily involved. So I don't do either traps or rear delts. So when I say shoulders, I just mean lateral delts and then your front delts. That's just what I do. Um, no problem, Eddie. No problem. Jovita said, "What makes a novice turn into an intermediate lifter? Is the 225, 325, 405?" No, no, no. Don't. Eric Helms, PhD. He has a PhD. He said this the best. Everyone has differences in genetics. Like for example, one person may have amazing genetics and start benching at 315. Does that make them automatically intermediate or advanced because they're starting out benching 315? No, they didn't do anything to get the 315. They just got lucky with genetics. What the difference between or what turns someone from a beginner to an intermediate is how fast they progress. If you can progress really fast, if you can add weights on exercises week to week or workout to workout or week to week, you're still a beginner because only beginners get large return on investment in regards to like nervous system adaptation. So like beginner gains is what it is. So if someone's rapidly gaining strength in the squat, it's telling me two things. One, they're on gear, or they just started using gear, or two, they're a beginner. So it's how fast you progress. Intermediate and advanced lifters progress very slowly. So I don't care about your strength in regards to other people. That doesn't matter. Some people get screwed and just don't have the genetics to be strong. Does that mean that they're not an advanced lifter? Now, of course, someone may have a different way to gauge beginner, intermediate, and advanced in regards to comparisons between everyone. That's different. But to me, like when I write a program for someone, what I consider advanced is how fast they progress. You know, advanced athletes are going to progress very slowly. They may hit one PR, maybe two an entire year. That's it. A beginner is going to hit PRs left and right. So that's what I would. So no, it's not numbers at all. Now, if you're trying to gauge numbers based off you, it just depends on your structure. Like 225 bench, these numbers right here could be amazing for someone who's 5'1" and weighs 100 pounds. That would be phenomenal. That would be nuts. Those numbers could also be mediocre if the person's 6'6" and weighs 400 pounds. Those would be pretty. So it just depends. I wouldn't strictly go by raw numbers. Um, Smith Iron says, are barbell complexes great for burning fat? And would they be considered a hit workout? I don't know what barbell complexes are. Are those like here, let me look that up real quick. Barbell complexes. Let me see. Okay. Okay, I get what you mean. Okay, so like a circuit workout. Um, no, I wouldn't say no. Not for burning fat. No. If you want to lose fat, you just have to be an intelligent caloric deficit. That's the best way to put it. Um, Obviously, if you're talking about expending calories, like raising your total daily energy expenditure, yeah, those barbell complexes look like they're gonna require a lot of calories and expend a lot of calories throughout the day. They're gonna take a lot of energy out of you. So yes, if you're trying to just burn as many calories as you can throughout the day, yes, but it's not gonna burn any fat if you're eating excessively. So the barbell complexes will do nothing if you're eating like 5,000 calories a day. Um, so so yeah, I would definitely But if you're just aiming to get at the most calories you can in a workout and you're already in an intelligent caloric deficit, then yeah, I would say those look pretty good. Just be careful with those because I personally don't like barbell. Like I'm not sure if this is with no rest. I'm personally not a big fan of compound movements done under fatigue. So that almost sounds like it would look like a uh like almost like CrossFit style without sprints and stuff, just with barbell movements. So I'm not a big fan of barbell movements with with limited rest. No problem, man. So it can be kind of I don't know. I'm just not a big fan. Like doing compound movements, barbell based compound movements when you're fatigued, you're doing them real fast. That's just a recipe for you to get an injury. And that's one of my criticisms of CrossFit is just that's just one of mine. I'm not gonna dog on CrossFit and say I hate it. It has some good aspects to it, but that's one of the things I don't like. Snooty, or I think that's your name, bro, or Snooted. He said, "What is your opinion on Jason Genova's diet and fitness progression? Progression or program? I have no idea what the hell this program is. Uh, no program. I have. I'm looking up him right now, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. What does it consist of? I don't want to say I'm skeptical of most fitness YouTubers, but a lot of them don't know what they're talking about. There are a lot of great channels out there. I like Athlete X. I disagree with him on some small things, but definitely an amazing channel. I like Omar Isu. That's a good channel. Lately, I've been watching some Shredded Sports Science. That's a great channel. Very smart guy. Um, who else? Again, I follow Eric Helms, Greg Knuckles, and Mike Zordos pretty closely. I love their mass. It's monthly applications in strength sport. I really like them. Let me see. Who else off the top of my head? Um, oh, I like Jeff Nippard. I think he got completely bodied by Vegan Gains, completely destroyed, and I think that he did not handle that situation well. But other than because even Vegan Gain said it himself, there's two reasons why Jeff Nippard was acting shitty with all that egg info. Was one, he was either stupid, or two, he's intellectually dishonest. I don't think Jeff Nippard's stupid. I think he's very smart, and most of his content's good. But I think he was being intellectually dishonest during that whole thing with Vegan Gains, 100%. Um, Jovita said, my friend eats like shit every day. He eats junk food every day and barely sleeps 3 hours, 4 hours. He would sleep max and he plays soccer and he said it feels great and fine. Genetics. Jovita, he either has amazing genetics and can do that. Okay, there's 3 things. He's amazing genetics, he can do that, and he's telling you the truth. He's completely bullshitting you because he doesn't want you to know that he feels like shit from sleeping 3 or 4 hours. Or 3, he's doing white lines like 4 of them like every day. You have a drug addict. You better get him in a rehab, man. One of those 3. That's it. You said, how does he play good and fine and is strong with sleeping like 4 hours? Hey, man. What do you mean? Tell your friend. Get him off the meth. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. It's one of those 3 though. He might be bullshitting you. I'd call him out. I'd say you're lying. I can't do that. That's nuts. Maybe he's not lying. I don't know. I'd go nuts off 3 or 4 hours of sleep. I can't do that. Hell no. 5.5 hours is like my like bottom barrel to feel all right. I still kind of feel sleepy at 5 hours. He said he can also bench 70 kilograms or bench 70 kilo bench 70. You said 70 kilo bench. He can also bench for 10 and he doesn't even lift. 70 kilograms isn't that much. Isn't that yeah. You said bench twice. What did you mean, Jovita? But bench 70 kilograms and for 10, yeah, I don't think that's that much. That's, what is that, like 160? Like that, 160, 155? 76 kilograms of body weight. Um, Hold up real quick, one second, you guys. Someone's at my door. I'll be right back. Fucking weird ass people. Sorry about that, you guys. Yeah, someone knocked on my door and asked to hop my back fence for something. I don't know. Um, but you said a buddy of mine eats this. Okay, yeah. So, Jovita, yeah, you said bench twice. Did you mean something else? Said he can also bench 70 kilograms and bench 70 kilograms for 10, and he doesn't even lift. And he's 76 kilograms body weight. That's I guess that's all right. I mean, what's the math on that? Let me see. Can't tell. I don't use times 2. 154. That's not that good, man. I don't think that that's good. I have a bad bench, and I don't think that. Um, and then Snooty or Snootis said, "How do I know if I have bad genetics?" Honestly, I just usually, I mean, bad is a relative. Bad is you consider good and bad on a scale usually compared to other people, and that's what I mean when I say bad genetics or good genetics. Like me, my like me, I don't think I have a good bench at all. My max bench is around 250 right now, but that's having been lifting for years. I don't have a good bench. If you're lifting years, and I didn't have a good program for all the years I've been lifting, but and that's 250 pounds, not kilograms, obviously. But I don't want somebody to be like, what the hell? But yeah, and that's being on a good program for maybe like the latter half of my training career. So I think that I have a poor man's bench. So to me, that's not good. That's not good for having lifted that long. So Snooty, I would just say that it just depends, like compared to other people. I would take your general height, weight, age, and how long you've been lifting on a good program. Not a bad program, a good program. And if you still have poor bench and you know you've been eating right, sleeping well, then I would say you probably have bad genetics. It just depends. Like if you have a bad bench but you don't train bench press, that's not obviously bad genetics. It's because you don't train, you don't do bench press. So you kind of have to eliminate. If you're doing pretty much all the factors right, good program, eat well, sleep well, and for your height and weight, remember, height and weight is not a good indicator. It's not a good way to gauge progress between individuals. It's actually a terrible way, but that's just a general way to do it. So it just depends on how you compare between people. Grumpy Snorlax said, "What would you recommend me to do if I can't fix my squat form? My right leg is never in a comfortable spot, but I can go pretty deep without butt wink." What do you mean fix them? What's wrong with it? If you can go pretty deep without butt wink, is it just like, what do you mean if you can't uh you said my right hip is weird. What do you mean weird though? Like um you mean like it hurts? Because if it hurt, then honestly, like, and you have to remember too, people look at exercises like squat, bench, deadlift. If you're not a power lifter or you're not competing for a competition, or you don't really like those exercises. Like me, I haven't competed in powerlifting yet. Maybe I will in the future. But I could never not do squat, bench, and deadlift. I'd probably go nuts. I love those three. Now, if you don't absolutely love them and you're not a powerlifter, you don't necessarily have to do those exercises, man. Um, and I don't even agree that going ass to grass is the best way to do a squat, even if you can, man. So what I would do is for you is one, um, you said my right leg is never in a comfortable spot, which makes me think that you play around with your foot stance and width and hip width and foot positioning. Try more if you haven't. Try externally rotating your feet a little bit. Try putting them more forward. Try going wider. Try going more narrow. Manipulate your depth. Don't go all the way down. Try going where your crease of your hip is just below your knee when looking at it from the side. So as you're squatting, your butt's going back until the crease of your hip is right below your knee. So go just below parallel. Try that. Don't go ass to grass and see how that feels. And if you keep having problems with it, then you might want to consider just dropping the squat altogether, man. I mean, you don't have to do it. If you're a powerlifter, then you're kind of screwed, but since you have to. But yeah, that's what I would do. But yeah, if you have any more info on that, let me know. Is it just, does it hurt? What do you mean by feels weird? Like, um, yeah, sometimes it might just be you, man. Not everyone's perfectly built to squat. So like I can't, like you said you can go ass to grass without butt wink. I can't do it. Yeah, I can't. Andy Acosta, what's up, man? You said, have you ever experienced plateauing in weight loss? I personally haven't, but I've seen people have. And I think that people need to remember is that you have a genetic limit for everything. You have a genetic limit. So a lot of the times, Andy, that I've seen people plateau in weight loss, it's because they're pretty low already and they're trying to get some like, okay, let's take one step back. With all this social media bullshit, Instagram, YouTube, and you don't know who the fuck's on what these days. Well, you can kind of tell visually, but you don't. No one else. Half the motherfuckers aren't gonna come out and say shit. You don't know who's natural or what. So all these people trying to get like super low levels of body fat and wanting to be 4, 5, 6, 7% body fat when they're not genetically like that. And they're thinking it's a problem with their diet. Sometimes you just hit a genetic limit, and that can go with weight too. As I think that I've seen people who hit a plateau, but it's their genetic kind of limit. You can just tell everything's on point. You try to look at all the issues. They're in an intelligent caloric deficit. They're eating right. They look good already. but they're just trying to go more, do more, do more. But sometimes you can't, and the only way to go lower and weight is to just do something stupid, like go so low in calories that your body just starts giving everything up, muscle mass, fat, and then you're now just less weight but a worse body composition. So if you're talking specifically about weight loss, you can continually lose weight until the point where you're gonna die. Like you're so low body fat percentage, you're so low, you could just stop eating. If you're talking about fat loss, I see it all the time. It's because people are always like scratching their heads, like, what's wrong with my stuff? Sometimes it's not, nothing's wrong with your stuff, your program and your eating. It's just you're getting to that genetic limit where if you keep pushing on that gas pedal, you're gonna screw something up. I see it with women all the time. I was talking to someone about that the other day, and I'm not going to say their name out of respect to them. She was upset that she didn't see progress, and she was showing pictures to the group. I have a Facebook group if you guys want to join it too. But yeah, and she kept saying like, "Oh, I want to go lower," but she looks good already. I'm being honest, she looks good. She looks, so it's just, sometimes it's just wanting too much. Um, Grumpy Snorlax, you said, "Oh, my right leg is most comfortable, more behind the left leg." Um, that could do a lot just with like how you do things throughout your day. Like I did, I have a knee injury. I think I've talked about it before. I tore my ACL meniscus. I had to have surgery on it. Uh, and if you're on the ground, imagine your guys self on the ground, laying down or sitting or anything. When you stand up, you usually use one leg to kind of put up first, and then you use the other leg. I almost always use my left leg first out of habit. I don't do it on purpose, but I do. Because when I was doing physical therapy on my left leg, the injured leg, I just did physical therapy on that one leg mainly. So I'm so used to standing up and doing things with that like that. Even though it's my injured leg, it became like my dominant leg in certain things. So, and that was just from doing that. And I try to do stand up with my right leg sometimes now, though. So what I would say is you're probably doing things. I don't know if where you work, like if you work in Amazon in the warehouse, if you're kneeling down with that one leg every single time, you're gonna have a huge amount. Okay, I think it should be good now. Okay. So yeah, so it just depends. Like when you're doing certain things with your like when I do a single leg press, it feels funny when I do it on my right leg. So it's probably just Grumpy Snorlax. It's probably the easiest explanation I give you. It's probably things that you're doing throughout your day that are not the same between each leg. There's no way in hell you're gonna make sure everything throughout your day is done with each leg optimally and the same and the split evenly between the two legs, so that when you squat and everything is even to your legs feels weird during a squat. So even doesn't feel even because you don't do things that are even throughout the day. So when you try to make everything even, it's not what you're used to because throughout the day you're not doing everything even. So yeah. And so to give you a training tip, Grumpy Snorlax is try to include single leg exercises. Make sure you're including 2, 3, 4 exercises throughout the week where it's just single leg exercises. That should help. Definitely. And then other than that, yeah, that's the only tips that I can give you that wouldn't be going outside my scope of practice. Um, Smith Iron said, "What is your opinion on calisthenics? A lot of people that do them seem to be very shredded." They're good. I like them. I like them. They're definitely good. And you can gain muscle optimally with high rep ranges. So unless you're doing more than 50 reps, 40 reps, or going below 30% one rep max, then you're going to be able to gain muscle optimally still. So I like them. I think that calisthenics are great because they kind of help keep your weight in check. Obviously, if you're overweight, like you're just obese or something, you're not going to be able to do that many calisthenics. So to me, it tells me that you have a good strength to body weight ratio if you can do calisthenics. So I like that as well. Another thing I like is that they're very dynamic. It kind of teaches you dynamic strength. You're not moving in just one plane of motion most of the time. Calisthenics involved multiple planes of motion. So you're moving in the transverse plane, you're moving in the frontal plane. You're not just stuck in one plane of motion. So I really like that. Yeah, I think that they're great overall. And then for people that are just shredded, it's just because that, again, for one, the people who do calisthenics aren't going to be overweight already. So I think that calisthenics already kind of they kind of already draw in people who are naturally lean to begin with. But I do think that like maybe that just the fact that the stuff that they have to do, they really have to watch their diet. I don't think though that anything specific to calisthenics makes them shredded. Um, I think that if they're doing calisthenics to the point where it's using more of the aerobic energy system, it kind of if it's using more of the aerobic energy system, then if I pause, it's because it's buffering. But if it uses more of the aerobic energy system, then it could have opposing adaptations that like strength training would. Kind of like how like marathon runners look. They look skinny versus people who train for hypertrophy. So that's the best way to put that. A vegan brain said, "How would you deal with ectopic heartbeats during heavy deadlifts, heavy squats and deadlifts?" I have no idea what that is. By the way, I've been checked by a cardiologist multiple times and I'm healthy. Let me see. Oh, okay, skips beat or add to beat. Okay. It doesn't say that there's anything wrong with it. So what do you mean deal with it? I just looked it up, and you said that you're yeah, it says that there's nothing, they're not like threatening or anything on the what I looked up right now, and then you said your cardiologist said that you're fine. So how would you deal with it? What's the problem with dealing with it? Does it throw you off when you hear like missed beats? Um, Let me know what your issue with that is. If there's no actual like physiological problem with you, like it doesn't cause pain or something, let me know what issue you have. Grumpy Snorlax said, "I can't raise my pull-ups. My first set is around 7 reps, and it goes down from there. I haven't seen any progress." Well, it's always going to go down from there after your first set, because I mean, if you're talking in the same workout, you're obviously going to be more fatigued, so you're not going to be able to do that many pull-ups. Like my first set of my workouts, I don't remember when I say I could do 20 pull-ups. That's when I test. When I do my regular workouts, I'm not peaked for that time. So I probably start off with maybe like 15, 16 reps on pull-ups for my first set. Um, and then it drops significantly to my set. My second set will be like 10. But if you're talking about how you can never get past 7, one, I would ask, how often do you do pull-ups throughout the week? Two, do you use varying levels of intensity? Like, I would definitely not just use pull-ups. I would do pull-ups, I would do weighted pull-ups, maybe even banded pull-ups, and not banded pull-ups to assist you, banded pull-ups to make it harder. You can attach a band on your back and then put a band attached to a dumbbell on the ground, like a heavy dumbbell, and the band will drag you back and down. So work with varying different intensities, and then so so again, do pull-ups multiple times throughout the week. Work with varying levels of intensities, regular, heavy, banded, and then three. You have to be somewhat lean. If you're really heavy, it's going to be harder to do pull-ups. If you do those three things and you know you're doing those three things, then you should be able to go up in pull-ups. Oh, and obviously implement deload weeks. So that's something that you should do. Um, Definitely implement deload weeks. Uh, so I would definitely do that. Um, yeah, and then just be patient in general too. Like again, I've not always been able to do that. Before I went into the Marine Corps, I could do like maybe 4 pull-ups, something like that. It was stupid. Yeah, so it takes a long time. So if you do those three things, you'll be pretty good. And I think you had a little question on your other part too. No, that was you just finished other stuff. All right, then, you guys, I'm about to hit an hour for the stream. I'm gonna call it a stream. If you guys have any more questions, you can keep leaving them right now. I'll still answer them later. But I gotta go get a workout in myself. You guys gotta get your workout in. I got upper body pull, so it's back, biceps, and then I got yoga, and then I got core. So I got core yoga, and I got an upper body pull workout. Whoever's coming in right now, towards the end of the stream. I'm gonna try to keep them, 45 minutes to an hour, and I'm gonna do a minimum of one a week. Again, if you guys have any questions, leave them down below. If you guys want training, you guys can email me jp@jpfitnesspro.com. Just ask me any questions if you guys are local to Redlands, California, or if you want online training. Thank you, Grumpy Snorlax, A Vegan Brain, Snooty, Jovita, Eddie, Smith Iron. Thank you guys for asking questions. I really do appreciate it. You guys are true OGs, triple OGs, the bosses. Um, Thank you. Oh, Andy too. Thank you too. Yeah, I try, man. I try. I appreciate it, man. I do. It's just I've been over the years that I have my YouTube channel. I have a lot of shit happen here and there where I was moving or something, so I haven't been as consistent as I like. Over this last like 8 months, I've been pretty consistent. I had that gap of like a couple like 6 weeks ago. I had that gap where I was transferring gyms, and I keep you guys updated on that. But other than that, I need to be more consistent. So I'm gonna try to be 100% consistent to the end of the year. So my goal is 10K subscribers towards the end of the year. So if you guys ever see my video, giving it a thumbs up, giving it a comment, sharing the YouTube channel with your friends will help a ton. But I do appreciate that, Andy. I appreciate that a ton, man. So I'll see you guys next week. I'll have another video coming out around Friday or Saturday. But as for the live stream, I'll see you guys next week, and thank you guys all for coming in. Peace.